Danny Allen from the Vegabonds. Welcome to Australian Musician.
Thanks for having me.
We haven't spoken to you before, so let's go way back. First of all, the band name, Vegabonds. Why the Vegabonds, and what were some of the names you rejected?
I can't remember the ones we rejected. They were, okay, so Vegabonds is basically derived from vagabonds. We like the meaning behind vagabonds, with no home, always kind of wandering around, is kind of what we do as a band. We do have our home base, but we were always on the road from day one. So the name really resonated with us, and there was already a band called the Vagabonds. So we just put an E in there and called it Vegabonds.
Okay. What about growing up? What were the albums you were listening to?
Growing up, it was a lot of country where I'm from, and I grew up in South Alabama. And so it was a lot of country, rap, and 90s rock. There was a lot of Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, Bone Thugs and Harmony were the rap group that I really liked growing up. And then you had your rock, Sister Hazel, Blues Traveler, who else? Oasis. 90s rock. I kind of listened to it all. I was very open to all the music that was around me.
Most of you guys met at university, I believe, in Alabama. When you were starting out, what was the Alabama club scene like? What sort of gigs were you playing?
Yeah, so we started in Auburn, Alabama, at Auburn University. I had a band, and then the other four guys had a band, and we were always seeing each other out at the clubs or whatever. And I would play one night with my band, they would play the next night, and we actually did a battle of the bands together, and that's how we kind of really got close. And then met a couple of guys at a party one night, Brian and Paul. And Brian, our drummer, I stayed in touch with him, and that's how we kind of formed. He told me they were starting a new project and wanted me to come on. And so we were already playing the same clubs, and we just had really good connections through our former bands. So we just kept playing the same circuits. It's a college town, so every night is a party.
Yeah.
So there's always people to play to, which was good for us. And that's where we started, was in Auburn. But we would play different colleges just like Auburn around the southeast of America. And it was kind of the same scene at every stop. So to start with, we were playing a lot of built-in crowd clubs to cut our teeth.
Okay. And at some point you decided to go to Nashville and base yourself there. What was the thinking behind that?
Yeah, so we started the Vegabonds in 2009. And so we really liked Auburn. We're all small town guys, and Auburn has a small town feel to it. And so we stayed there for 3 years and really established ourselves as one of the best college bands, around. But we always had a dream to take it farther than that. We were writing our own music since day one. And so in 2012, we felt like we were either going to Austin, Texas, or Nashville. And Nashville was the big city that was closest to us. And it was, it's Music City. So that's where we wanted to be. And we made the move, and all moved into a giant house together. And yeah, we've loved Nashville ever since.
Yeah. What would you say have been some of your career highlights to date?
Career highlights, I guess I would put it as the people we've been able to play with. We did a show with Greg Allman. We did a show with Leonard Skinner. We've done shows with Charlie Daniels. And so to see those guys who are legends, to see them on stage and how they carry themselves behind stage too, and how they prepare for a show, and then to watch them do their thing was amazing. And then we've done 3 European tours, which were it was great to get out of our comfort zone of the US and kind of go see new crowds that are different. I mean, we might not even speak the same language, but when we play our music, it felt like everybody was understanding what we were bringing to the table. And it was awesome to see.
In general, tell me how a Vegabond song comes about. How do you present your ideas to the band?
So as a songwriter, I do a lot of writing on my own and with other co-writers. And lately, the way it's been going is I'll write a song by myself or with a co-writer. And usually it's like an acoustic song, that I have the lyrics to. And basically, I form out the lyrics in a song structure, verse, chorus, and whatever you want to have. If you want to have a bridge, whatever. And sometimes I'll bring the whole song to the band and it just clicks and it's a good song and everybody's really into it. And sometimes it's like, I like the lyrics, but we need to work on the music. And so lately it's been a lot of collaboration between our keyboard player, Bo Cooper, and our guitar player, Richard Forehand. They'll write a lot of music and then I'll bring the lyrics and kind of form what I hear over the top of their music. And that's a lot of how we did this new album. Most every song was like that.
Yeah, the new album is called Saints and Sinners, coming out on September 24. You've already had a live album out this year. Why did you decide to bring out two albums in 2021?
Well, the live album was a product of not being able to tour last year and not being able to really do a record the way we wanted to. We wanted to get this record out a lot sooner, but we did a live album from one of the live streams that we did last year. And we went into the studio where we record all of our albums, and we had our producer basically live mixing the stream. So once we got the audio back from that, we felt like it was a great live album. So we just went ahead and put it out. Yeah. And then we've had this record in the works for the past 2 years, Sinners and Saints.
Yeah. Did I call it Saints and Sinners?
Yeah, it's okay. No problem. I know what you mean.
Sinners and Saints, people.
Right.
So why is Sinners and Saints the title track?
We were trying to find the title track, or even what we're going to call it, because some of the albums, it's not even a track. It's just what we call it. Like our previous one was V, and we didn't know if we wanted to do something totally separate from any of the tracks or not. And so we kicked around 3 or 4 titles, and none of them really stuck. And then Sinners and Saints came up, and it just felt like it was the right thing to describe the overall album. So as soon as we said it, it was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. As well as the great Southern rock thread that goes through your music, there's also a bit of a melodic pop rock element in there, especially on this album with Heartache and Memory and Can't Deal. There's kind of a lighter shade in there as well. Where does that influence come from?
Yeah, I think we all have the pop influence in our music and our DNA as songwriters and as musicians, just from growing up listening to a lot of pop music. We love Southern rock, but Tom Petty is one that really stood out growing up, and in my older years as well. I really fell in love with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers in the past 10 years. So he's been a huge influence on my songwriting and our playing. And then both of those songs that you brought up, Heartache and a Memory and Can't Deal, Bo, our keyboard player, they're very keyboard heavy songs. Like he's the lead musician on those songs, and he brought the music in. And Heartache and a Memory was a country song that I had written. It was like traditional country song, and I just had those lyrics. And when he started playing the music to it, I was like, I think this would be perfect for this. And it really clicked, and that's just how it's been happening lately. We've had a lot of time to be together and really hone our skills, songwriting, and just in the practice room as well. We were able to write about 30 songs for this album and narrow it down to our favorite 10.
Yeah.
So
Why did you decide to dedicate a song to Leo Fender?
our buddy Ross Beasley, he goes by Brother Beasley. He's a big co-writer of ours, and he wrote that song, and it sounded like a prayer whenever he first wrote it. And so, and he wrote it on acoustic, obviously, and the stripped down version of it is really, really awesome. And so we just beefed it up, put a rock feel behind it, and yeah, Leo Fender. I love that song.
Yeah. Is there a song on the album that's closer to your heart than others?
I think that I like another one of Ross's song, Brother Beasley. He wrote the single that we're releasing on Friday. It's called Feels Right. And it's different than anything we've ever put out. It's got a real Fleetwood Mac feel to it. And I don't know, it just hits me. Yeah, every time I listen to that one, I'm like, it's probably my favorite on the record.
Yeah. The album was produced by Tom Tapley, who's worked with you before. What does Tom bring to the table?
He brings everything. He's great, man. He gets us. We've done 3 records with him now, so we're very comfortable with him in studio. But that comfort isn't like, you know, contentment. He pushes us in the studio and makes us really strive to bring out the best in the song, to serve the song. What's the best thing to do for the song? Is it to take out these lyrics, or is it to take out that guitar solo? Or do we need to add more guitar? You know, whatever makes the song the best it can be, that's what Tom wants to do. And that's what we want to do. And being 3 records in, it's just like doing records with your best friend at this point. It's great. We love Tom.
Yeah. You're on tour at the moment, or about to tour. Are you going to be able to play all the dates? Are they indoor gigs, outdoor gigs? What's the situation with the tour?
Yeah, it's kind of just, as far as I know right now, everything's on. Nothing's been canceled, which is good. There's but it, you know how it is. It's always just, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everything goes well and we won't have to cancel anything.
Yeah. How's the new material scrubbing up live in rehearsal?
Oh, it's great. It's great. People, we've already put out 4 singles, and when we play them live, you have people already singing the song. So you couldn't ask for more.
Yeah. Are you the kind of band that extends songs on stage and get into a bit of a jam?
Yeah, we will. That's where we came from, the jam world. Whenever we first started, we were in 2009, we were heavily influenced by the Black Crowes, My Morning Jacket, and the Allman Brothers. So yeah, we came from the jam scene, and we would go on like 10-12 minute jams when we were first starting. But that's, it can get boring to a crowd if that's not what they came to see. If I'm going to an Allman Brothers show or a Black Crow show, I expect that. But we had to kind of rein it in. We do a song now that's about 13 minutes, and that's the longest one we do. But yeah, we like to extend and really give the fans a unique experience. It's different from the record, and that's what we want.
Yeah. On stage, you mainly play acoustic guitar. What is your main acoustic guitar, and where did you pick it up? What's the story behind it?
So I play a Martin X1 series. I picked it up in 2015. I was playing on Broadway in Nashville for, a side job to go down and play country covers for tourists. And the guitar that I had at the time was absolutely terrible. It was a old Jasmine that I had. It was just bad. So I picked up the Martin, and I just love the Martins. I have one of the series it's not high end, but it still sounds amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Do you ever play electric on stage?
No, I stick to acoustic.
Yeah, you let Richard handle all that.
Yeah. He got it covered.
So what's the grand plan for the Vegabonds?
We love to tour. Touring these days is changing, and we're evolving with it. Uh, we love to tour. We've always been a touring band, but I think I'm married now. I have 2 kids, so my focus is really writing quality, catchy, good songs, and I love being in the studio. That's my happy place. So my focus is for us to make really good records and put them out, because who knows what's going to happen with touring from day to day. So if you can continuously and consistently put out good music, and even if you have to do live streams, I mean, find a way to connect with the fans and put out good music. That's what we're trying to do. And I think that's all we can do at the moment. Obviously, I'd like to say we want to, big scheme of things, we want to win Grammys and have #1 records. But realistically, that's what our main focus is. Put out great music, connect with the fans, and be consistent.
Yeah. Okay, well, the album Sinners and Saints is out September 24. Danny Owen, it's been great to catch up, and all the best. I hope to see you down here in Australia one day.
Oh, we'd love to. Thanks for having me on, Greg. I appreciate it.